Tonight, the debate over kids' education in Kentucky continues, and Governor Beshear's latest move may not be the last word. Today, he explained his veto, but the majority in the General Assembly is gearing up for its next move. Wave News reporter Meredith Lee explains what could come in the near future.
Yeah, the fight over school choice in Kentucky just got a lot more complicated. The governor just said no to a federal education program, and that choice is already drawing criticism. Governor Andy Beshear made his position clear on House Bill 1 the day before he made it official.
Kentuckians love our public schools. I mean, they are anchors in our communities. The answer to public education isn't to divert dollars and students. It's to actually fund it in a way that we can fix it.
On Friday, he followed through, vetoing the bill. It passed both chambers of the Kentucky General Assembly with bipartisan support, arriving on the governor's desk March 2nd. House Bill 1 was filed just hours after the Kentucky Supreme Court struck down a 2022 law that would have allowed public funding for charter schools, a ruling celebrated as a win for public education.
Anytime that public education is attacked, we're going to stand up and fight back against it.
In his veto, Beshear said Kentuckians have been firm. Public dollars should only be used for public education. Posting on social media, the Republican supermajority hasn't listened. I have. Today, I am standing with our people and vetoing House Bill 1. But supporters of the bill pushed back hard. Primary sponsor Representative Kim Mosier and co-sponsor T.J. Roberts called the veto, quote, a shameful disservice to Kentucky students and families.
What this legislation would do would allow parents to access scholarships for K-12 education. This would be entirely privately funded, but those people would receive a federal tax credit for those gifts.
Senate President Pro Tempore David Givens said in a statement that if Kentucky refuses to opt in, taxpayer donations will simply flow across state lines to support education elsewhere. Most of Kentucky's neighbors, Indiana, Missouri, Ohio, Tennessee, Virginia, and West Virginia, have already opted into the federal program. Kentucky could still join them if the General Assembly decides to continue their push for school choice.
I'm confused about why the governor would veto this. It doesn't implicate state tax dollars at all, and it delivers a lot more education money into the Commonwealth of Kentucky.
Senator Givens says the General Assembly will take up an override vote next week. If it succeeds, Kentucky would move forward with joining that federal program, with scholarships potentially available to families as early as 2027. For now, the governor has drawn a clear line. Whether the legislature crosses it, we'll find out next week. Meredith Lee, Wave News.